Yes. So sorry for the last 2 weeks because we were in the masterclass in France and it was actually very nice. So we hope to do the same next year, probably at the same place. We found a very, very nice place in a remote-ish mountain in the south of France. So it's like half an hour from Montpellier. Um, It's both very remote and a very nice place. It's an old, very little town that has been converted into a nature hotel. And they have a lot of conference rooms and a lot of rooms either in buildings or in new wooden buildings that they built in a small forest patch. So it's very nice. So I hope next year, you will be there because I want to do something specifically for BioCoherence and the another international summit. So it might be we are still working on the dates, but it might be next year around the same date, so probably end of May, or maybe again end of September like last year. We are still flexible between the two, but everybody is more leaning towards doing something again next May in this same place. So south of France, a lot of nature, very big and nice conference rooms, and uh, it was really very nice. So of course it was only in French, but if we do it next year, it would be part in French, part in English, and we would probably do two groups with two different rooms.
So
It would
nothing,
be, yeah,
nothing this coming fall tied to Dan's conference again, or no?
maybe. Maybe I have to synchronize with him because I'm not sure what he's wanting to do this year, so I have to check that. Mm.
Okay.
He's really tied up in the his fractal university right now.
I think so. I
What's
think
the name?
I'm not sure he wants to do a big event. I think he just wants to develop the university that he has in Vernet.
Yeah.
Mm.
What's Matrix? What's the name of that town again?
Vernet-les-Bains. Vernet.
Renee,
Vernet. Vernet.
Renee, um,
Vernet-les-Bains.
Liba. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. I've watched his classes and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever he's put out on the YouTube, um, it really is uh, it's not really anything new, to tell you the truth, other than the personal experiences that some of that I've observed, what they've showed on YouTube. But
Okay.
anyway, I'm not really here to talk about that. My
Yeah,
other question is,
to be honest, I didn't really followed what he did set up there because I was under too many projects with BioCoherence and so on. So
did you
I'm not sure what it does. Maybe one idea would be to at some point do a course at this place for around BioCoherence or something grouped with that. But we are more wanting to organize something around this annual masterclass that we do. So do another summit because last year's summit was really great. So
did did you record any of the French sessions
yes,
this year?
everything. Yeah,
Are
we
you going
recorded
to?
everything, but it was more some theoretical approaches and practical approaches around many healing techniques and devices. And there was one or two specific biocoherence conferences, but more like a general presentation.
I'd
And
be really interested in that political and money stuff just to see, even if it's not for America. I mean, I would, if it's possible to watch that, I mean, you don't have to post it publicly, but it give us a link, and because
yeah, sure,
I'll
sure.
just
Mm.
use the translation and use captions, because I mean that really affects, at least as far as I'm concerned. I mean, maybe for myself and Michael, and I don't know, Jeff, if you're a distributor, but that's it's good to know, because that's really what we're all up against,
Mhm.
as far as what you just described. Um, yeah, I mean, it'd be good just to, other people, in other places using you know, the well, I don't want to just say financial, but you know how you're combining practices and and I don't want to say marketing because I don't consider, I mean, I
You
need to
know,
get myself out.
yeah, marketing is not a bad word. It's the aim of what you want to do that is the question. So, doing some marketing for yourself, if you want to spread something good, is actually something that you need to do, and
Yes.
we all have to work on marketing somehow to be known and to be able to help more people. So, and
Well,
on this topic of marketing, that's a very interesting thing that I wanted to say today, and thank you for giving me the relay for that. um, we had some very interesting discussions during this masterclass about how to present biocoherence, and one of the things is that I really want to change medicine and health and how to heal people and so on. But we don't have the bandwidth and the studies yet ready to really go out in the clear and to say, hey, we are the best new medical software in the world. After a big discussion, we decided that we need to really focus on only well-being right now. And you know that we can do a lot of things with biocoherence, but the thing is that we cannot yet respond to authorities in the way that authorities want us to respond. So we are doing since 2 weeks, well, maybe 1.5, a big refocus on rewriting of everything that is in the app for the next version. And if you refresh the database, you will start noticing it. But we are trying to get as much as possible out of the medical field to go into the self-healing and self-development and wellness field. And that was triggered by the releasing of the harmonizer, because the harmonizer is clearly, well, on a medical point of view, can clearly be described as a medical device. And we are not ready to market it as a medical device because we have the FDA clearance, so it can be sold as a medical device in the US, but we don't have the MDR clearance yet to market it as a medical device in Europe. And we had a kind of a setback for that because each time the authorities ask for new documents, it's a 6 months delay that we face. So it should have been last winter. Now it should have been this June, and now maybe it will be in a few months, or maybe it will be in a few days. We don't know. So meanwhile, that was one of the triggers that we decided to focus on wellness and self-development. And in fact, I think that with everybody that we spoke about this, it was kind of a huge relief because that's what BioCoherence is about. It's about self-development, and it's about empowering people to heal themselves and to find the resources in themselves to self-help. That's the core idea of BioCoherence. And then we developed this scanner and this way of seeing what's happening inside and so on. But the core idea is to give back power to everyone towards their own body and their own mind and their own energy. Nothing is removed, cat. What is different is the wording, mainly. So for instance, the harmonizer is not yet marketed as a microcurrent device, but as a wellness sensory device. Okay, so it's just the wording that is changing, but it's a device that is accompanying a wellness experience, a meditation experience, has to add some sensory inputs, more than sound and voices and so on, but adding some sensory inputs to the body. Okay. Another change that we will do is that to get out of the medical wordings, we removed completely the term biomarker to only talk about structures. Okay, we already went into structures. Because that's what it is. That's how we evaluate it, and that's how we work on it in the body and in the mind and in energy. We are working on structures. So getting out of the biomarker term allows us to get out of this is a medical evaluation. Okay, we are doing an evaluation that is an energetic evaluation, and we are doing an evaluation that will help you focus on specific parts of the body that we call zones. Okay, or specific acupuncture points that we will call nodes, or specific meridians that we can call pathway. All of these are just a change of terms, and the same screens are behind this, but we are trying to make people understand that they can act on their own body and mind and spirit without entering a medical explanation of everything. And I think it's better for everybody at this point because it goes back to the true nature of what BioCoherence is. It's not a medical scanner. It's not a medical way of seeing things and splitting problems and so on. It's a holistic way of tying everything together into your consciousness and your body and your energy. And that's what it is about. So in a way, it's maybe we went a bit too far in some visualizations, trying to go too quickly towards the medical fields, and it's a kind of centering back to the true nature of biocoherence. Okay, so it implies that, for instance, all TCM recipes, most of them are changing names to go more on the wellness point. So we are it was in fact a mistake to put some diseases names, for instance, into this, and I think a lot of you already expressed the problems that sometimes some TCM recipes go with a name that can scare people, and it's exactly what we don't want to do. Okay, so rewriting these names in a more positive way and in a more self-development way, I think, is a win for everybody, for you and for customers. Same for basic programs. Some basic programs were directly addressing some medical issues, and we had to work on the names to change them. And of course, a lot of the harmonizer programs were directly tied to medical conditions too. So all of this is being reworked to be more focused on self-development and positivity and seeing things on the positive way. Already we changed the organisms to the terrain. You saw that in the last webinar that we did, which is much more accurate regarding what we do, because we never measure the actual organisms. We measure the ability of the body to host maybe these organisms in certain ways, and that's exactly what the terrain is. Okay, so that's one of the big changes that will come in the next version, and if you download the latest beta, you will see all of that. Another big update, and that is for mostly for Laura. She's not here, but she will probably see it afterwards. And most of you that had problems on the Harmonic Boost player for the Android devices, we finally finished to tackle the problem and to again change how the Harmonic Boost were computed internally. And in the latest version, the full length Harmonic Boost is entirely pre-computed on the device from the individual Harmonic Boosts. So we found a very quick way to do it. So it's much quicker than exporting the short length Harmonic Boost as MP3. But it's only for an internal use. You cannot export it. Okay, but the bottom line is that it took several weeks of work to make it work right, and it's starting to actually work right. The bottom line is now I can guarantee 100% that you can close the screen shut off the screen on iOS or Android, and it will play seamlessly for even 2 hours if you want. Okay, so that's a big step forward, because a lot of people were annoyed by the fact that the harmonic boost were not playing continuously if you were closing the screen off, or you had some problems on some low-end Android devices and so on. So the next update should entirely fix this problem, which I think is another big win. And the third thing we did, we had some complaints from people on Android tablets or low-end computers that the app was very slow. And so we tried to remove as much as possible. And one of the things we did is that we don't preload all the body maps and all the graphics anymore unless you start opening them, which means that in 99% of the case, when you don't go into a detailed analysis, the app is much lighter and much faster to load, which again should be a big win, especially on low-end devices. It didn't really make sense to preload everything for the analysis. Well, it did make sense at the beginning when we released the app mostly as an analysis device. But meanwhile, it has become mostly a device where you can do the recording and get automatic priorities and never go into the analysis screens. And so we found this way of delaying the loading until the moment you need it. And it's almost instantaneous, so you don't see that it's happening in the background. But meanwhile, it allows the app to be faster on many devices. So next update should bring us with more clear terms on what the app really aims to do. And I think the next step would be to revamp the website to be very clear that this is a self-development app whose aim is to help people empower themselves in their own healing. Okay, I think that's the core thing that we want to do with BioCoherence. And that's my belief since the beginning. My belief since the beginning is that we can help people find resources in themselves to move forward in their healing journey by themselves. And that's teaching self-healing, teaching self-development. That's the core idea behind BioCoherence. And I'm pretty happy that we go back to this root and we go back to this core function of what we do with BioCoherence. Okay. The second thing is the offline player should alleviate you with a lot of problems that you could have with many customers, and it's a good step towards the new light version that is still under development and maybe not part of the next one, but I want to provide end users with an app that is really, really easy to use in the first steps. And so if you can just give them a harmonic boost to play and just a few buttons, and it's quick and efficient, and then if they want to go further, they can unlock some new possibilities, but everything works easily. Then I think we will have solved 99% of the blockages of what we can do with our customers. Okay. So that's all of this is part of the new update that you have in beta, but that will be released probably next week, if all goes good. Yes, Mikael, you wanted to...
Great. Yeah. I like the idea because it will take some pressures around, away from our shoulders that we have to compete with the physicians and stuff like that. Yeah. And go a little bit back and say, okay, this is an energetic part of you will be scanned, and of course with this goes the information that the energetic the body is the energetics will be reflected in the body and things like that. So you can work with a client like this. That this is very important. And also, I see in the future it for the elderly people, who know before something is wrong. They see already that the energetic part is not good, so they have to do something with it, and then they see what they do, if it helps or not. And if it's really critical, they go to the doctor before they get sick, you know. So I think this is a very important thing.
Yeah.
What I noticed, how you can use it. So very good.
Yeah. Yes, Dan.
Thank you. You know, what Michael is saying, I agree totally 100%, right? And the software in BioCoherence, at least how I've been testing it and how I approach it, is, you know, the energetic body. Yes, like Michael said, it's the energetic body, but really what I try to not necessarily guide, but say, you know, express, is that, you know, long before it ever becomes something that you need to go to the doctor. And why would you go to the doctor? Because you're really feeling something strong in your body. You're getting whacked by feelings. So the whole idea of wellness, not medical, and energetic is to, and you can't make anybody do anything, but is by explaining, expressing, have the software, the scan, the exploration, express, connect to your feelings, right? And that's one of the reasons why I like mind shadow drives so much, right? Because right then and there, the big bars, it's not getting the bars smaller. I mean, I have to change that philosophy. It's really, those are the big bars. And then I try to get people, without telling them what to think, you know, the structure, I will use structure now instead of biomarker. The structure says lack of grief. Okay, well, that's a cue, right? So I try to get people to feel into that. How do you do that? I mean, the prompt comes up because I've enabled it, you know, journal, time for your journal in the morning. Well, that's good. But maybe, you know, and I don't know how to make this, attach this to keep the flow, but it really, you know, everything, especially right now with all the chaos going on, you know, I'm not really plugged into social media. I mean, not even really social media, but you know, what does that do? It's just like art. Even if you're in a museum, what is art meant to do? It's to cause a feeling, right? An expression. Well, what's the expression? It's in your body. That's really where BioCoherence has its value, and that's really, you know, you say I agree with the changes you're making. You know, I got a very powerful laptop with lots of processors and lots of memory and all kinds of stuff. But it still takes on my multiple scans. Like if you do several live tests, I mean, I don't know how Michael's laptop or Jeff's laptop or computer or desktop or whatever reacts, but I mean, I got something that can process, you know, trillions of calculations a second, and I've got more than one in the laptop, and it still takes 10 minutes. But it's like, you know, you go to the doctor, you get a blood test, right? Really, BioCoherence is a mirror, but the explorations are basically, I mean, they're not that because it's not medical, but I'm a phlebotomist. The software is a mirror phlebotomist, and it goes through each one to give you a progression. You know, if I have 7 or 8, or that one time when I had 30, it was like, wow, that's over a half hour just for it to bring it up, right? So if there's, and I'm hoping by what you expressed, what you said about the software, lighten it, right? And it will only calculate with the modules. But even if you bring up prevalence or something like that, I mean, if I've got 10 scans, I mean, it's going to calculate it right then and there, right? And that's still all of that time.
Yeah. Yes. Sir.
Then I have an M4 Apple laptop, and if I make an evaluation, it takes 20 seconds to open up.
Yeah.
20 seconds. I mean, M4 is quick, you know.
Yeah, I think we have to be more proactive in recommending some setups, and I know that most of the Windows setups are much slower than the Mac setups, even with low entry Macs. And I have to buy the latest $700 Mac to see how it works on it, but I suspect it will be much quicker on a $700 Mac than on a $2,000 Windows. And at this point, I'm not sure how to make the Windows version quicker. There might be a way, I'm not sure how to do it. But I have the same experience on Michael. Everything is so fast on Mac or iPad, and it's painful sometimes to see that Windows or Android versions are slower. And until I find a solution, I think the best would be to recommend some setups that we know are working very fast for sure. And
yeah, especially if you have a client in front of you, you know, for example, you have a client who already went to you, and you have an old evaluation, so you have your old evaluation in your mind, know where the you know, the important points are, and if you do a fresh evaluation, you go to these points and check if there's something better or not. So
yeah.
So I never compare. For example, I never compare evaluations because I see only the integral core score is important for me, and of course the flower, whether it's, you know, purple or yellow, you know, the difference. But more or less, I can say, okay, this is how it looks there, and this is how it looks there, and it takes 20 seconds to open up each evaluation. So I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I that mine takes longer, especially if I'm charging them, you know, how much by an hour, and, you know, it takes up 15 minutes just to go through evaluations. I mean, which is fine. I'm not really complaining. I'm just stating what it is, right? I guess maybe I'll have to. It's unfortunate, but maybe I might have to purchase a better Macintosh than my iPad, because the iPad is never really a current. You know, it's usually 3 or 4. At least as far as the PC is concerned, it's usually, you know, the updates are slower, and that's not because you didn't make them. That's because Apple's taking their time to release them, whatever, as far as I understand.
Not on Mac. On Mac, you can install the beta version and the version directly from our website. On iPad or iOS, right? You have to wait for the official releases. Yeah. Anyway, I think it's good to, regarding what you said before, Dan, I think it's good to focus again on what BioCoherence can bring to your clients. And as you said, lack of grief or something like that, and people sometimes don't relate to it. Maybe one thing you should do is, you know, you have the meditation text on the structure panel. When you click on the flower, it opens all the text. And if you click on learn more, you have more explanation, and you have the full meditation text. Maybe that's something you can read to your clients and see if it resonates with them. And if it resonates with them, maybe engage them with doing the daily meditation. And maybe not the first time, maybe the second time you see them, or the first time if it comes that they might be open to doing the meditation. But really, I think the first thing that I wanted to develop with BioCoherence, and I think the most powerful one, is the daily meditation. And of course, we do the harmonic boost by convenience, and probably the harmonizer will unlock a lot of things. But really doing this daily focus on oneself with the daily meditation is something that is extremely powerful. So don't forget that the end result is people are changed by their own will through this daily focus and daily appointment with themselves. And yes, we have these other tools like the harmonic boost and the harmonizer and the screens and the explanations and so on. But I still think meditation and self-reflection is the most powerful tool that we have. So just maybe read the text to the client, and if you start seeing that the client says, oh, okay, this seems interesting, and I I've never meditated in my life, but this meditation is telling something to me that resonates with me. So just tell them, oh yes, just install the app and start the 21-day program and see if it does something to you.
I mean, I agree with that. Instead of, you can say, you can tell a person, or they say it's resonating with me.
Yeah.
What does that really mean, right? I mean, really, what does that really mean? What is resonating? 9 times out of 10, it's mental resonation, right? We got to turn it around because, what the harmonic boost does, in my opinion, or the personal guided 21-day meditation is, they're just, at least in my experience, I should say, I'm not trying to give this as a general statement for everybody's perspective, but in my experience, and really not so much clients, because I don't have that many, it's mostly just friends and, other people that I've tested that are, I don't even charge most of them. I just, there's a scan here, let's see, right? Because in a sense, I'm testing, but it's external, but the focus is internal, because that's it. It's, it's not that I should be able to, but give them a scan, sit them down, let them look at the monitor, a separate monitor, because realistically, it's them personally. That's where the change takes place, right? But it in order for well, I'm going to use the onion layers, right? But really, it's the quick cycles are the most prevalent because they're surface level and they feel those, right? So it's really just feeling. We've got to get them deeper into feeling it. However that is, if it's meditation or vibrology, or the visual thing, which I hope. I haven't really been turning that on yet, but I have, but it's had aberrant functioning, so I don't turn it on.
Yes, but all of these tools are, you say it's mental, but we have to enter by any different mean into the knowledge field of the client. And most people are first and foremost mental and need to understand and to integrate. And that's why we have the voices in the meditation. But in one way, you could say that the harmonic boost is a kind of silent meditation by itself. There are no words, it's not mental, but it speaks to your body and it speaks to your different structures. It just speaks with sound that resonates instead of speaking with words that speak to your mind. So in one way, we could frame the harmonic boost as a meditation without words, because that's what it is somehow. And maybe the harmonizer is a kind of meditation for your body, sending information to your body and making your body resonate without any mental implication, but something is happening. Yes, Jeff?
Most of the people who come to me, they want to see something doesn't feel right. I want to see what's wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think they're coming to me for a meditation because there's a billion of them for free online, and they either maybe take yoga classes and things like that. And I think the diagnostic tool of what we're having to move it away from being diagnostic is not a good thing in that sense, as far as I'm concerned, is because when you say, I get what you're trying to do to cover your ass legally over that stuff, but there's plenty of other systems out there where the BioWell and all them, they don't have a problem putting all that kind of stuff on their websites and talking about it. So I don't know where the actual problems lie in the legalities. But when someone comes and they want to have a reading, they don't necessarily want to just sit down and say, okay, maybe I'll figure it out in my meditation. They need the guidance, and that's what was happening with what we're seeing deep inside the program at this point.
And so we still have it.
We don't want to lose that kind of stuff.
No.
Okay. So
no. It's very important to keep it because it's the core of what makes BioCoherence really interesting. It's this algorithm that helps you understand what structure you have to work on. And
But so if someone comes in and it's showing up, you got problems with your teeth and there's bacteria, and here's your stuff to help balance that. I don't want to see that kind of stuff get lost. Or if you're showing some type of toxicity and that stuff is coming up, I go, that's the important stuff that draws me to all this.
yeah, it doesn't change. Yeah, it doesn't
Okay.
change. But for instance, instead of saying we are working on your organs, we just say we are working on various zones of the body. Okay, it's the same algorithm, it's the same result. We just don't pretend that we are measuring the organs. We are measuring what is energetically happening in certain zones of the body. But for you, the way of using it is exactly the same.
So it's semantics, basically.
Yes, it's mostly semantics.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with Jeff, and I wasn't trying to, get it taken away. Really what I was trying to express is, the bridge. It's bridging, at least for me, and this is just my perspective, but it is for the bridge to, right? Because they got a problem. They want, Jeff's clients, Jeff's got a lot of just great experience, like a master, but especially with sound. So it's bridging that, because the beats, the stuff free on the internet, whatever, when we're, even the meditations, you can do guided meditations, you can find a bazillion of them on the internet, but we need to get each individual client is their own perspective. Each individual practitioner using BioCoherence, it's their perspective, and I'm only expressing mine. I'm not trying to say this is the correct only way, but it's bridging that to get them to, like I said before, even if they use the guided meditations, that's good, but harmonic boost that's the power, right? And because it's even underlying, you can't even hear the words half the time, right? On a soft spoken voice. Yeah. So you're still hearing the frequencies, right? It's how do we bridge that? You got to bridge it back to feeling, because 99% of the people, they're self-medicating or whatever, and they don't feel, right? That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, the junk on the web is, and I call it junk, because there's so many people, hey, you can buy a frequency for your hemorrhoid if you want. It's like, oh, good luck with that. You're going to pay $10 for a hemorrhoid frequency. There's no guidance. There's nothing that really explains a whole lot of things with a lot of those programs and stuff. And so the thing here is there is organization to what's happening with BioCoherence, and keeping it in a understandable way, I think, is the utmost important for especially someone new coming in. And that's why Laura and everybody in the beginning was saying we need a simplified version. And now I see that you're trying to work on that, which is really important, because there's so many bells and whistles, and we've done nothing but answered bugs for the past, 2 years. And so the idea is when we can get past the point where we can just say, okay, we don't have to worry about anything for a while other than what Apple might change, or the PCs change or something, and there has to be some kind of upgrades because they force you into that. But getting that solid foundation is really important, because we're kind of messed up, and it's hard for me to go convince somebody when the errors are going on the way they have. And so, and I think you've heard enough of, just about every one of us have had our complaint at one point or another. And so this simplification hopefully will answer some of that stuff. And, I just look forward to, keeping harmony amongst all of us instead of going, oh my God, what's wrong this time? So, and that sucks, I know, on your part, because you have to deal with it. It's like, and having to understand the foundation of when you built the software, because everything changed so much from when you started creating it. And then you get all of our input in there, and everybody else, and French and everything else. You got a million people sending you what they think should happen, and you got to sort out what you want. It's your company, And so, but we need our answers fulfilled so we can, be able to share this correctly with the world, because it's hard to go out into social media or really build this in a big way when there are still so many errors that are going on.
Could I just say one more thing?
Yeah.
I see in the Telegram the onboarding. Well, I'm not even sure what that means. I mean, I know what onboarding means, but you know, I since it is harmonic boost, even if you're doing the personal guide or an onboarding type of thing, get a frequency. I don't, whatever it is, maybe Christine could contemplate on that and then start something okay, here's a start, here's your scan. We're going to take one part, the first part, and you're going to just use that frequency with sound, maybe even have a visualization. So just get a sound that will definitely cause a feeling in their body. One feeling, one place, doesn't matter where it is, one feeling. Okay. And then maybe for the visual aspect of it, have, uh, the body or I don't know, something, right? And then
Yeah.
you've got the tone going, right? And then whatever, because you've got the TCM, the meridians, right? So you've got that map of the body, whatever, just even if you just put it on the heart, put it on the big toe, I don't care where it is. So you generate the sound, and then the sound comes into the body, even if it's not accurate, to get a feeling, show them something on the screen that they can,
Yeah.
I am feeling that there, right? And just let it go at that.
Yeah.
Right. And then just have them concentrate on that, because now that's the bridge. That's what I'm trying to express. That's the bridge. Right. And once you get that bridge, then the harmonic boost becomes, maybe you don't run 8 or 12 or 30, like in my harmonic boost. I've got 40 or 50, lines in there. Right. And well, maybe because I add the blue ones, but,
Yeah.
just 3 or 4, just to get them started, right? And then as you build up to that, I mean, I know that's people like Jeff says, they come here, they want to get something fixed. Well, okay, but this is how we fix it, right? And if that's not good for them, that's not good for them. But that's because people listen to sound. I mean, they can turn on the TV and put headphones on and hear sound, right? I mean, that's probably a negative influence, but that it's I
Okay. So it's a good idea.
But
Anyway.
then onboarding is a way to have a way for the newbies so they know how to use the app. That's very simple,
Right.
and this is very important. And there are many ways to do it. I mean, I had my ideas already, but I think it's very important. Because the better you know how to use the system, the more you will use it. It's very simple. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Well, I understand onboarding. In fact, as a manager of a whole department, director, and I had to do onboarding. I had to actually create onboarding, the documents for onboarding. So I understand onboarding. What I should have said is, for onboarding, what are we onboarding? That's all. I understand onboarding. I
No,
understand,
but
and thank you, Michael, for sharing that. That more clarifies it more for me.
giving a concrete experience during the onboarding is a good idea. Yes, of course. I'll try and work on that. Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but that's what I try to do, because
Yeah.
honestly, I really try to say the least amount of stuff that I can, other than if they ask me, and I usually don't. The reason why I say I don't use their scan, I use my scan, because that way, what I'm telling them, especially if it's lack of grief or whatever the biomarker / structure is, then if I tell them and I use my exploration, then that's my perspective on my body, and I'm not giving them blinders for
Sure.
their scan, right? I think that's very important. And
Yeah. No, you should never do a demo with a user scan, because he will be focused on his own problems, uh, where he should be focused on how to use the software.
that's just my form of onboarding them into their scan.
Yeah.
Anyway, gentlemen, this has been very good. I'm glad to see you, Médéric. I really would, if you care to, and I'll just use whatever I have to translate the French into English.
Yeah. Anyway, when it's online, I'll send you the link. And
Okay.
I think there is a way to get a translation, maybe through YouTube or I don't know what. Yeah. Actually.
Well, I'm going to go see a lawyer today, so about my case, so I need to prepare for that. Anyway, y'all
Okay.
have
Have a
an
good day.
abundant afternoon, and I hope your weekend is just
Bye-bye.
as abundant.
Yes. Same to you.
Bye now.
Anyway, Mikhail, you wanted to
No,
say
no.
something? No? Okay. I think we can stop here for today, if you're okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will stop the recording.